Take you to this very important conversation. Now, Tunji Disu has officially assumed office as the 23rd Indigenous Inspector General of Police. At the handover ceremony, the acting IGP stressed that members of the force will not be expected to perform miracles with nothing. Tifon Esian reports on this.
The change of baton at the force headquarters marks the end of one era and the beginning of another. Witnessed by senior police officers, government officials and stakeholders, outgoing Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetukun used the occasion to reflect on the journey of the force under his leadership.
We strengthened intelligence-led policing architecture, expanded digital crime tracking and forensic capabilities, enhanced interagency operational coordination, reinforced internal accountability mechanisms, modernized tactical assets, and intensified specialized training across commands nationwide.
But the words of the acting IGP resonates deeply with officers and men of the force. In a cautious and sober tone, Tunji Disu says, with the change of leadership comes enormous responsibility.
I am of the strong opinion that this is not yet time for me to be congratulated. It is not yet time because a heavy burden has been placed on my shoulders and those of my colleagues. It is not yet time because I know the expectations are very high. It is not yet time because I know we should not only meet the expectation but strive to surpass them.
The acting IGP goes further to outline the pillars of his leadership, placing emphasis on professionalism, modern policing, accountability, community partnership, and public trust.
You will not be asked to perform miracles with nothing. Leadership in this service, from this day forward, must be visible, accountable, and worthy of being followed.
As Nigeria confronts evolving security challenges, expectations are high that the new police leadership will translate words into action, restoring confidence within the force and rebuilding public trust. Tifon Esian, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, thank you so much, Tifon. Now joining us via Zoom from USA's public affairs analyst and security expert, Danis Amachree. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for joining us all the way in USA. I'm sure it's quite early. Good morning.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. So let's just go straight into this conversation. Now we have a new IGP. People are expecting a lot of greatness from him. The president has decorated him. The president has stated how he believes, in his ministry and some of the things that he would do to make security better to make the security better in Nigeria. But now people are asking questions, He said that there's going to be a total war against corruption. Oftentimes people do not believe in the police anymore because they have these assumptions that, the police is not your friend. When in a normal day, the police is supposed to be your friend. So for the new IGP, after all the congratulations, we've congratulated him. What next? What are some of the things that you and we Nigerians are expecting to see from him?
Thank you very, very much. I think Tunji Disu is, should I say, a square peg in a square hole. I think he has a lot of experience in intelligence-led operations, and then, of course, he also have operational, tactical, experience. I knew him when we were in Lagos. In fact, RRS was one of the best police units that we have in the country. And Tunji has headed that particular police unit. And then, of course, he has moved on to become Commissioner of Police, FCID. So it looks like he was being prepared for this particular job. And he has, from what he has said already, you can see that he has cut out his work for himself because there's a lot of work to do in the police agency.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Amachree, for joining us this morning. I can't imagine us waking you so early, to speak to this matter. But we also appreciate your time. One of the very important issues in the state or in the country right now is this creation of state police. I know we've had you quite a number of times on this platform talk about the importance of it. Are we likely to see that being facilitated under the leadership of the now appointed new IGP, Tunji Disu?
Yes, I am really happy because I remember when I was in Lagos, he has been on so many platforms with me where we were talking about state police, and I think he has got the experience. He has gone to the states. He has been a commissioner of police, so he knows. And I think with this kind of experience, and of course the new push, because I can see a new push by the president for state police, I think Tunji should be, he will be the lucky guy. He will be the lucky guy to manage the institution of state police in Nigeria. So I think what he needs to do is to, follow up with the legislators and let them do it. And then, of course, he can help in setting them up. Because what is happening now is that when state police are created, which most other IGPs don't want, because I have, in fact, the last outgoing IG, the very first contact about that, I think he rejected it. And many IGPs have not been very positive to state police. But I think what he could do now, because I see that he wants a community trust. The community distrusts existing.
Let me throw this in again, Mr. Amachree. So if you're saying that most IGPs didn't want the creation of state policing, how about the men and women of the force? Are they keen to the establishment of the state police? And what kind of structures will we see within the police force to enable this to be created?
Okay, I think, you see, one thing is, let us not confuse state police with state police command. Okay? And I think the new acting IGP is very, very much aware of that. Now, the state police is a totally different, complete structure of the police. Not reporting to the IG. They will not have an IG anymore. So, Tunji might want to, because many IGs don't like it because it's like they are going to lose some of their powers. But they are not losing their powers. They can still play an oversight role, because when state polices are created, then there will be federal police, of which Tunji himself is going to be the head of the federal police unit, And then, of course, remember, there will be other federal police units, like EFCC, like NDLA. All these are going to be other federal police units. But the state police will be the full police structure existing independently in the state. And I think the new IGP knows about that.
Yeah, Mr. Amachree, it's quite interesting. We have a whole lot of people who are taking that position until we now have Tunji Disu, and they made lots and lots of promises in terms of agency collaboration, will fight insecurity, will definitely help the police force to maintain international standard. But we often see that all these remain they remain promises without actual implementation of the facts. So one thing is, how do you think we can, because when it comes to trust, the public trust in the police actually remains fragile. And you remember the NSAS, the fallout of the NSAS, where a whole lot of people stopped trusting the police. they would say that, okay, we also want to make sure, as Tunji Disu has mentioned, saying that he wants to fight lawlessness, dirty officers, etc. In practical terms, how do you think, or what step or confidence building steps do you think that the current IGP should implement, or what should we expect from him to rebuild that credibility in the Nigerian police force?
Thank you very much for that question. I think this is where the crux of the matter lies. You know, for Tunji to fight the public distrust that exists between the police and the public, he has to really go down. You know, state police can help him to do that too. But, you know, right now, before the creation of the state police, we'll find out that he has to look at what happens on the street, because that is where the problem is. What is happening on the street? In fact, funny enough, yesterday, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, I was watching a policeman at a checkpoint talking to some 2 foreigners who were crossing, you know, they are passing through Nigeria. And then, of course, the kind of things he was talking to them. Fortunately, he didn't ask them for money, but he was even telling them that he wants to buy alcohol for them. You know, the important thing is this. They have to be knowledgeable. They have to be professional. Now, I know, as a Nigerian, he feels that, oh, I'll buy you a beer, you know, but overseas, a policeman cannot see you with drinks, you know. You cannot even smell of alcohol. Otherwise, that's a major ticket you're going to get for traffic violation. So, you know, he feels he's being nice, but he should know that you don't drive and drink, you know? So these are the critical issues. And how do you do that? There should be training, retraining, reorientation, seriously. And then, of course, one important area you should look at is police public relations. Police public relations officers, as they are now, I think basically they come and make statements about crime, the people that they were arrested on the road or something like that. No, police public relations should be expanded. Expanded where we have school programs, market women programs, you know, where the police have a team that goes to schools and tell them about police work, what police does, you know, and then, of course, market women, how they interact, you know. We have this police community relations group, you know, they might be doing that, but they are still too small. This is a big, elaborate expansion that Tunji can do if he wants to fight public trust.
Yeah, I think at the core of trust deficit, which we've all been talking about, lies one fact, which is an increase in crime, particularly transnational crimes and social vices within our country. And the police response, you know, to address those issues. So the moment you have an increase in crime, more people are getting involved. For instance, in Yahoo and all manners of crimes, scamming other people, which affects the country's image. The police are trying to do a good job. Yes, some of them are doing it. They are not actually doing it professionally. I don't want to say doing a bad job, in the sense that the youths kept complaining in one way or the other. But when you actually look at the facts and you look at the whole issue, I feel that the IG is starting on the right note, with the right narratives, the right agenda. One is talking about human rights, you know, civil rights, which is, he wants to be very strong on it to ensure that the police are not violating people's rights. They have to operate within, you know, the guidelines when dealing with the public, which is good. He said he's going to be very strong on that. He's talking about tackling corruption. Corruption is not just about arresting politicians or other Nigerians who are involved in one corrupt means or the other. He's looking at, from my own reading of it, corruption within the police force itself. To say, look, there should be no reason why a Nigerian is filing a petition, or a grievance, and then is being asked to pay 500,000 naira in order to get it approved. It should be looking at things like the police on the streets. Why are they collecting people's laptop, mobile phone, going through young people's mobile phone, in an attempt to look for something incriminating one way or the other, or to make such an allegation? Then what about policemen collecting bribes on the road? It's not all policemen that are guilty of all this. I understand that. But from what he said yesterday, he said he wants to address it through professionalism. That is, improved training and reorientation of the Nigerian police force. I don't know to what extent do you have confidence in his agenda and how he intends to tackle it with a view to improve, on the public trust deficit in the Nigerian police force?
Thank you very, very much. Again, we are talking about the crux of the kind of work that he's supposed to do. Number one, he has talked about professionalism, and I want him to modernize the police. Modernize the police. Reorient them. And this is a very big job for him. I think he has a job cut out for him. Reorient them to be, professionals, in the sense that a policeman is not just supposed to be, most of the police, I can tell you right now, the mobile police, they are, in fact, a friend of mine called them gun for hire. You have money, you can pay for a mopo, you can pay for even 5 or 6 that will follow you around. And in Nigeria, the whole idea is that when you are with a mopo, you are a big man.
Yeah.
I think that has to stop. And he has to, the reorientation by modernizing the police, whereby they will look into police work. The motto everywhere for police is protect and serve. To protect the public and serve the public. Now, to do this, he has a big problem. You are going to also modernize the policeman himself. You cannot pay him unnecessary salary and expect him to behave very well. You cannot take care of you have to take care of his welfare, so that when he comes out, my neighbor here, where I'm living right now in the United States, my next door neighbor is a police officer. He lives there with his family. In the morning, we go out and shovel snow, and he is also there, and he goes to work and come back. He's not begging for anything. In fact, he has everything that he wants. He lives inside the society. So we are going to cancel this idea of barracks. There's no need to put people in the barracks. Let them live with the society, the people that they want to work with, And then if they do those kind of things, reoriented, more forensic, investigations. If a policeman will first arrest you and then now go and start investigating, we are still investigating. That is wrong. You've got it wrong already. The important thing is to do your investigations, and then, when you have enough evidence, you now go and arrest the person with a warrant, and then within 24 hours, the person is in court.
Exactly.
It's not lock him up and then you stay there until you are investigating. In that investigation is a ploy to wait for his people to come and bribe so that you can let him go.
Yeah, because of our time,
so
let me chip this in. Because of our time, oftentimes people will say, should there be an overhaul, where we actually retrain these police officers again? Because just like Mr. Shomi had said, we still have some very good eggs in the police force, but the bad ones are now, I would say influencing the good ones, and now all of them are now actually almost doing the same thing. Now, you said something, about, let's not forget that there was a point where the president has said that he's removing police officers from VIPs. I don't know how far that went, but, it was a big deal that time. We're always talking about it, and I felt it was was very fantastic, because oftentimes you see a police officer tying the shoelace of somebody, you see a police officer carrying the bag of somebody, which is not supposed to be, because when you wear that uniform, you carry a lot of power with that particular uniform. So do you think that we need to train these people, retrain them again, to make them just understand the ethics of actually being a police officer and the power that they carry?
You are very correct, and I said it, and I say it again. Train them and pay them. Train them and pay them. Because if you just train him without giving him the necessary pocket money, to live a normal life, he will think that that uniform he's wearing is the access to, get money, extort money from somebody to now live his life. So he knows this, and he can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very quickly, Mr. Amachree, you talked about that. It probably we should get them living from the barracks and living within, the society. That might bring down this issue of big manism and small manism in, handling police matters in the country. But also that borders on welfare, really. You say train and pay them. If they have to live in the society, which is a fantastic psychological move to do, will they have the money to afford it?
That's why you have to pay them, and please let nobody tell you we don't have the money. Like, you see state police, many people are against state police. Some states don't have money. Only Lagos or Rivers or, can do it. It's a lie. It's a lie. Governors are collecting security votes running into billions every month.
Okay.
Maybe they have to come and tell us about where that money goes. We have to be more serious about this. You want a society, a well-protected society where police is doing their job, but you don't want to pay them. You pocket that money, you call maybe the commissioner of police and give him 1 or 2 million, and then he's happy and stuff like that. That is not it. That money is for security.
Yeah.
And then the reorientation is very important. Remember, the police was created to protect colonialists.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Mr. Amachree,
Now, when the colonialists left, they now saw a new orgas, and those are the politicians. And that's why they are working for the police. Now, we want that police to be independent-minded.
Mr. Amachree, very, very quickly, another major debate, that actually people are raising concerns about is the tenure of the police IGP. Although we understand that the Police Act, allows for 4-year tenure, but we understand also Mr. Tunji Disu has been in the system for a long time and is due to retire in 2026 or thereabouts, or 2027 or so. How do you think this will take care of, is it going to shift that conversation, these controversies? Do we risk distracting from that substantive reform of the Police Act? Very quickly.
Well, the thing is that they should look for promotion within the police system. And remember, all disciplined organizations, Army, Police, Navy, DSS, they are hierarchical organizations, and this idea that the military has gone, which politicians are taking, will not work.
I wish we had more time for you to answer that question. I wish we had more time, but we'll definitely bring you on the show again. I wanted to talk about using technology for the stop and search. There's a whole lot to talk about, so we'll sure have you on the show again. Thank you so much. You can go back to bed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amachree.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, still ahead on TVC Breakfast.